Hey folks, welcome my new friend Shelley Smith. Shelley is a best-selling author, a consultant, a keynote speaker. She is the CEO of Premier Rapport Consulting Firm. She has 35 years of experience where she started years ago at the fine age of 11 in the family-owned restaurant, auction, and flea market. And now she has the reputation as the creator of Culture Inquiry. She's also the host of the Culture Hour with Shelley Smith of Premier Report in your morning commute. Shelley, thanks for hanging out with me.
Hey, Charles, I am so thrilled and honored to be here today. So thank you so much.
Fantastic. Where are you located?
I'm in Newport News, Virginia, so the east coast of
You
Virginia, about two
are.
and a half hours south of DC.
That's they call that Nova.
No, yeah, I'm not in Northern Virginia. It is
Gotcha.
still called Nova, but I'm in the it's called the beloved 757. So 757 Hampton Roads, Tidewater area. Those are some of the coastal Virginia.
Yeah, I was
Those are
gonna
some
say
of the
you're on the
names.
beach.
Yes, I'm near the beach. Yes.
Oh, bless your heart. That's awesome.
Yes. Other than
Where,
during hurricane season, it's awesome.
Other than that, it's fine. It's like when I tell people about Tennessee. Tennessee's great, unless you hate tornadoes, then you're not going to like it as much.
Exactly.
So take us back a little bit. You don't have to take us all the way back to age 11, but you can give us the 4 minute version of kind of your story and how you got to where you are now.
I would keep it as short and sweet as possible. Long story short, back in the day, I started off as a part time desk clerk with Marriott. And through the years, through 14 years, actually fell in love with working for Marriott pretty quickly in. And I was with them through all of the different pillars of the Courtyard, the Select Service division
Hmm.
back in Atlanta. And I absolutely loved the hospitality industry and very much Marriott, its structure, just an incredible company. And I still have huge positive things about it today. But I did not want to, I got to be an area manager in the Tidewater area
Hmm.
and a growing family. And I didn't want to move to DC at the time, which is where their headquarters is. And so I branched out into the franchise world. The franchise world, I ended up with a local hotel company and I was their COO. They had 6 hotels at the time. When I left 8 years later, grew them to 35 hotels. I did a rinse
Whoa.
and repeat and went to another local franchise company. And I thought it was about the brick and mortar, and it wasn't. I really got burnt out on the hotel industry and
I bet.
called a franchise rep and said, I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. And I thought I was going to open up a donut shop. It's called Daylight Donuts. And I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning and said, I don't want to get up and make
You
the
don't want
donuts.
me to get up and make the donuts.
No, no, no.
Is
I
Daylight Donuts still open? Is that still a
there I
franchise?
think so.
Okay.
I think they are. Yeah. Not as famous as Duncan, but yeah.
It's all right.
And so I went through this assessment and they called the next day and said, pitch me 3 ideas. And they were all around executive coaching and peer board review. And I said, and this was back in 2007, 8. And I said, people make money at that. And that was before a coach was wildly accepted. That was, ooh, you have a coach. And now it's like, you don't have a coach?
You
Uh,
have a coach for everything under the
every,
sun.
everything.
Marriage coach, divorce coach, end of life coach.
You name it and everything in between. So I was pitched 3 different type of coaching peer boards, and I purchased one of them called the Alternative Board out of Colorado, and I had it for a year. I sold it. I took some bumps and bruises and lots of lessons learned, and now I have what you see today under Premier Rapport. So that umbrella of coaching is still there, but there's a multitude of other things around workplace culture, and so there you have it.
So Premier Report, that's a franchise.
No, that is not. That is my company. I sold the
Okay.
franchise, which was the alternative board. It's similar
Right.
to a Vistage. A lot of
Yeah.
people have heard of Vistage, so it has a very similar model to that. So
Okay.
so now it's my own company, Premier Rapport, and there you have it. There's the
What,
short version.
that's awesome. What did you do? When did you sell the previous one?
That was in 2009,
Okay.
2008, 2009. I had it for a year. Had it for a year. Yeah.
And that allowed you to easily slide into your own. Was there any kind of non-competes or other nonsense like that that you had to
No,
deal
no,
with?
no. Yeah, everything that I did, and I really, I came out of the what they call the peer board reviews and the single executive coaching, and I really dove more holistically into workplace culture and the leadership development, the universities, and then of course now I do executive coaching around that. So everything from startups to really large companies and everything in between.
So
So
what is
it's a full umbrella.
so what does your business model look like?
Um, Specifically, my when I first started on my own, I had the brick and the mortar and the staff. And again, I took some lessons learned and got rid of the brick and the mortar and the staff because I found I was always going to my clients. So it was
Mm.
never coming to me, it was going to go. So I got rid of that portion of that and the overhead. And then I started to work, and which is true today, I work with strategic partners. So when I have, depending on the size of the project, I will bring in other partners into the fold and into the play. And then if it's a smaller project, then I take that on. And the things that I used to do of saying yes to everything, I don't say yes to everything now. It's really the things that are inside of my zone of genius and the passion again around the workplace culture or the leadership development pieces for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I work on retainer fees and project based pieces, and I don't do one offs. I no longer do a one time workshop. I will only do series because, in my opinion, one time workshops don't work. When it comes to executive coaching, it has to be a multiple session agreement. Again, the one and dones just do not work. And so that's how I've been able to grow into that seven figures pretty easily and to stay consistent with that and with high profit margins because most of that is done by me. And again, I pull in from graphic designers to other
Sure.
executive coaches to other strategic minded partners. So depending on what it is, then I'll go in and do that. So typically they're long term projects, contracts, because you can't change workplace culture overnight.
No.
Typically, the best case, shortest case scenario is a 3 year journey. And so, with that, you're able to really get in and really move the ship, if you will, turn it
I
and level
love
it.
I love the fact that you're very selective and you're warding off, and that's not the way you would even tell them, but you're helping them discover the fact that you can't be hired in somewhere, see that the culture is an absolute hot mess. Hey, we're going to bring in Shelley. She's going to do a couple of talks with you guys, and then it's
And
all
then
going
we're
to
done.
yeah. Then we're done, and
Didn't
then
work like that.
when it's not, we'll say, well, that's Shelley. She must not know what she's doing.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. And I've gotten the confidence over the years and to just be forthright, honest, transparent with listen, this isn't a short haul, it's a long haul. You didn't get here overnight, you're not going to get out of it overnight.
Right.
And if the commitment is there, and one of the things that good, bad, or indifferent has been a blessing for my company is the the pandemic has shaken the fabric of so many different companies. And now the things that I've been saying about workplace culture, people like there's something around that.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense all of a sudden.
Yeah, that they see the value, the return on the investment, that you cannot not. And if you ignore listen, you have a culture, whether it's the culture you want or not. So it isn't a matter of how do you show up and what do you want. Again, what we do and how we do around the work that we do. So how do we work together when we work together? That existence of our environment.
I always look at culture inside inside a business or any organization almost like getting in shape and working out. Like you can work out, eat everything you're supposed to, do it right 5 6 days, and then day six you go on a big bender and you can easily undo all of it. And people don't understand that it takes that time to build it up, and
Yeah.
somebody can probably rip it down a little quicker than that.
Yeah, yeah. This is all true. You have to rinse and repeat and keep it consistent and going. You've got to stay focused on your mission, vision, values that have to be aligned. There's a multitude of things, and that's what the culture inquiry phase one steps into, is being able to, from an analytical standpoint, where are you? So you assess it, you diagnose it, just like when you go to the doctor. You can walk in with all of your Google knowledge that you want, that you researched it, but the doctor's still going to say, tell me what's going on. Why are you here? What's brought you here today? What are you feeling? What are your symptoms? Okay, great. Let's run some tests and let's figure out what's going on, and then we can give you some, more prescriptive answers to that. And that's exactly what I do. So that is my culture inquiry. Is we've got to take a look under the hood before we just start throwing stuff at it and say, oh, you need to do communication. Oh, you need to do this. Oh, you need to do that. Well, so that's the purpose of the inquiry, is to prescribe it and lay it out, create the buy-in, and then move forward. One percent change at a time.
How about now?
Now you're back.
The old mute button. Not only is there a mute button, folks, on your keyboard and on the screen, there's also, one on the microphone, so you got to be careful. So, who is your typical client?
Typical client has a multiple offices, so multiple locations, and that can be, facility locations, or like multiple hotels, for example, with a corporate office, manufacturing plant that's got multiple teams, for example. In a corporate office, there's usually anywhere from 100 to 300 people, and then from a team orientation, it can be from a total of 3 to 500 people, up to 3 or 4 thousand, 5,000 people. And
Wow.
then I do have some companies that are quite larger than that, and or that they are an affiliate, and then the affiliate ends up sharing me with the rest of the affiliates, for that. So I like to take on clients who have a pretty decent footprint, area of responsibility, impact
Hmm.
in their particular, location, and to really make a difference and partner with them. So I don't want to be perceived as a vendor in any way, shape, or form. I'm your partner to
Right.
help you, together, as much or as little as you want me to be in front of the scenes or behind the scenes, in order to help you grow. I mean, that's it at the end of the day. We Companies have such an impact on their communities and the people that they take care of, not just the people that they serve, the product or the service,
Hmm.
but the assets of the people who work there in the community. And the companies have to remain there in order for the community to remain there. There are some communities with large manufacturing plants, for example, that they the city, the town is there because of the plant.
That's right. They are the
And
community.
yes, and the higher education locations are often in very small rural towns that have become, it's the imprint of the university. And so we have to take care of the people that work there in our community, and I'm a big believer in that.
So, what does this process look like? Who's getting in touch with you? The CEO, the HR director, who?
That's a great question. Prior to COVID, it was typically human resources. And sometimes human resources report directly to the CEO, and then sometimes they're reporting directly to a CFO often. So sometimes it's also the CFO, but more typically it's in the human resources, now the talent to manage, people management side,
Hmm.
and then CEOs. And then sometimes it's the board who's actually reaching out, saying that we've got an opportunity here. The numbers have dropped. The turnover is no longer acceptable.
Right.
We're bleeding from a profitability standpoint. So bottom line is, it's top executives who are ready to engage and know that there's a better way. There's got to be a better way. And so the decision makers are the ones who are reaching out to me.
How many of these clients do you? So, out of 5 calls you get, on average, you accepting all five, or you at a point now where they fully understand who you are and you've already pre-qualified before they ever picked up the phone, or you having to tell one or two, hey, this we're
Um,
not going to be the right fit.
I am in a good spot right now where people have found me or been referred to me, and so they know who I am, and so they come to the table with, so and so told me to call you,
Right.
and this is what's going on. Can you help us? And then that leads into the conversation. I have not. Gosh, I'm sitting here thinking I can't remember the last time. I said to someone, "You're not ready for me." It's because they're
Good for
now
you.
coming and they are, and I say that, knock on wood, but they're coming because they're ready. They're coming because maybe previously we had a conversation 3 or 4
Sure.
years ago and they're like, it's a nice to have. And now they've realized that it's not a nice to have, it's a must to have. And we cannot not. So I am right now, and I say that humbly, and I don't want people
Sure.
to think, but yes, I have been in a spot over the last really 3 years where I'm not having to do those hard sells anymore. Now, it was a long haul to get here. So let me be clear.
Right.
It's just when you hear somebody in the entertainment, somebody is being interviewed and
Oh
they're
yeah.
indicated that it was an overnight success. There are no overnight successes. Come on now. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that come into it.
I can tell you that not just both on my business coaching side, but even on the explainer video side, where I have people that want, I just need leads, just need the phone to ring, I just need this, I just need that, and when I'm telling them that this is a long journey, especially if you're doing video, one-on-one video, interview style video, explainer videos, or if you're just any style of marketing or growing whatsoever. And everybody always wants to throw out the example, and they'll throw you out. So, well, Shelley, just it's all word of mouth and referrals. Like, yeah, but she didn't walk out day one that way. She
Exactly.
had this long tail of stuff that she does, and she still has some things that she does in order to keep people walking through the door, to keep talking to her. And folks want the overnight success. Of course, I guess that's the same way in the type of coaching that you do, where they say, I want a culture like they have. And then you have to be the one that explains to them, great, let me tell you how they got there.
Exactly, and that's actually reminds me when people say I want a culture like Disney. I'm like, you may or you may not want a culture like
Yeah.
Disney, and Disney is Disney, and so let's be clear that all those things may not fit with you in your workplace culture. So yeah,
So even in looking at doing that, I know you do, you got a couple of podcasts. So in addition to word of mouth referrals, what all are you doing in order to make sure that folks know that you exist, or what you're doing to kind of put your name out there, keep it there?
absolutely, you've got to be consistent. Something that I did start now 4 years ago, 5 years ago, daily messaging. Other than I say daily, Monday through Friday, daily messaging.
What does
Um,
that mean?
you've got to show up in some way, shape, or form. For me, the social media platforms. So the podcast, for example. So whether it's a podcast, which is pretty easy to do with my morning commute, whether it is a food for thought, whether it's sharing an interesting article piece, but showing value, adding that why you have credibility, why people should stay in contact with you. So remaining top of line. So every single day I post on, for me, it's LinkedIn, Instagram. I don't do Instagram every day, but LinkedIn every single day, Facebook pages every single day. And then, of course, I've got, the other typical suspects of Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. So, got lots of content, putting free content that's out there, but just something not to create noise, but to hopefully add value to remain top of mind
Sure.
on feeds and to be easily found when people are, Googling culture. So,
Right.
when somebody Googles workplace culture certifications, I'm going to pop up. And you have to stay top of mind for people to find you. And so daily messaging, point blank, daily messaging. And my coach that I have and I've had for years is the one who turned me on to the daily messaging. And at first I was like, daily? Have you lost your mind,
Yeah.
woman?
Yeah.
But she was right. She was right.
Well, it creates a, so for anybody, it creates that habit. And once you have the habit and you're consistently doing it, it's not like it's taking you all day. Not to mention it has all of the side benefits of, it forces you to think that day. It forces you not to just go through the motions. You're not,
That's
not just
exactly
going
right.
from A to B. You have to think. It's like when you teach something. I always remember some old Sunday school teacher talking to us about, getting more out of teaching Sunday school than they are just sitting there, because they had to actually go through and think of the questions ahead of time and what you're going to do. And, forced you to, same in marketing, forces you to come out of your shell a little bit and think about it instead of just doing it.
That's exactly right. And it allows you and it keeps you relevant. Um, I'm not a person who's behind the scenes that doesn't know what's going on. I like to get into the thick of things. And because I
Mm-hmm.
get into the thick of things, there's always something on my mind. I've talked to somebody yesterday about. I delivered, 3 sessions today about. I had a coaching session about. Well, the next day I'm sharing those tips, those thoughts, those ahas, those consistencies. Um, and that's how I try to stay in the thick of it, on top of reading articles and books and stuff like that. So
The morning commute. How that's the podcast. That's the 4, 5, 10 minute one. How often do you do that
yep,
one? Is that daily?
daily. I
Wow.
have backed off a little bit. I'm just under episode 500 of that. And it was originally Monday through Friday. This year, I have really the last few months, I've gone to 2 or 3 times a week. But basically, it is a 5 minute consumption, top of mind, food for thought, actionable area that you can simply do something around leadership development. And I typically end with, how are you showing up today? What role are you playing? So it's just literally a top of mind thought, action, motivation sometimes in order to get you. I call it your morning giddy up. I started it before COVID, the morning commute,
Sure.
thinking people are going to be, in their cars,
Yeah.
and it needs to be short and sweet and consumable. And even the little icon is me sitting in a cartoon car.
Sure.
And now I'm
Oh, I
like,
love
yeah,
that part.
the cartoon, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I would not have named that now, but that's how it got your morning commute name.
So behind the scenes question on that: Are you producing that, or you record it and somebody else takes it and runs off with it?
I use Anchor. I'm a simple person as
Sure.
well. IT is not my friend. And so, because I put a lot of content out, I like to do simple. Somebody turned me on to Anchor. And so I literally record it on Anchor really quick. If I say a blurb, a boop, I just roll with it. If the dog happens to be in the office in the background, I roll
Just
with it.
keep. That's part of life.
I just, yeah. And so I've got an opener, a closer, I sandwich it in. That whole thing, I have recorded it, done the quick little edit pull together for the episode, written my little teaser,
Sure.
and out to the platforms, 15 minutes max daily, all of that. So
What kind of
Anchor.
mic? What kind of microphone do you use?
I actually have a podcasting microphone, which I don't have on right now, or
Sure.
I just do it with this. And you can also, there's an app too. You can do it on your phone. So that's what I use now. When I do my longer podcast, I'll use Zoom, and I'll record the video, and then I put it out to the platforms and upload it. And I do have administrative support on that and a few other behind the scenes that I pay virtual assistant consistently. And I just run it up the flagpole, and I like to have things recorded, done, and out. So that's always by the next day I've done whatever little snippet, YouTube, all the
Sure.
platforms, and then onto the website. But it's all automated. It's all linked together and integrated, so it's pretty easy once it's loaded.
The so Anchor does all that for you.
Anchor does all that. All that. You can drag your video in. You could take this recording and I can drag the audio into Anchor, and
Boom.
done. And it goes out to 9 platforms, 9 podcasting platforms.
Very simple. All right. Well, I've added that
Crazy
to my
awful.
list of things to do.
Yeah. 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 It's good stuff.
So let's. You've been generous with your time. We're going to make a quick switch over to something a little more. We'll say fun. What would you tell your 20-year-old self, knowing what you know now?
Oh gosh. Knowing what I know now, I would have taken the leap. Take the leap into your own business sooner and listen more.
So at 20, you were in the
I was
hospitality
already.
business.
I was getting ready to be a general manager of my first Courtyard by Marriott hotel. Yeah,
Where
at that age.
my wife's huge Marriott fan, which is probably the excuse we use in order to use the Marriott credit card, but gives us all the points and all the stays and all the things. Where's
Hmm.
your and you may not have gotten a chance to go. Where's your favorite hotel location?
Oh gosh, hotel location. I don't
Yeah,
know that.
it's
I
a
don't know that
vacation
I have.
spot.
I don't know. Oh, I actually love London. I gotta be honest. I love London, and I love anything that's out west in the mountain area. So any ranch, Utah, Colorado, Montana, anything like that. But now that I've said all of that, I actually love the beach. If I could have a house on the beach and be there, I absolutely would all the
How
time.
far are you from the beach?
Oh, there's a lot of beaches that I'm close to. The actual Atlantic, though, I'm about 25 miles from
Oh,
it. But
how,
I
how,
can get to lots of the rivers really quick. But I like clear ocean, clear water. Love
hmm,
the Atlantic, y'all. Don't hate on me. But I
right.
want some clear water. I like the Caribbean. I love
Yes.
Aruba.
All the
Um,
Saint something islands.
yeah. I
Were
like to
you?
snorkel, and
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
a scuba diver. It's on my list, but yeah.
One of the worst sunburns I ever got, and for a bald guy, that's say it happens fast, was we were at, I think, St. Thomas, and we had floated out into the ocean. And I'm just, I'm here in Tennessee, so I'm used to the Gulf, and the Gulf is great, but it's,
Yes.
you get a new adventure every time you go, whether it's seaweed, jellyfish. Last time we went was just a month ago. We had a dead eyeless fish. And by eyeless, I mean dead fish that had no eyes all up and down the beach. And my children were they were a little disturbed. They had been watching like Stranger Things and
I
thought
would
like
be a little disturbed too.
they had thought the upside down had come over and had to explain to them the birds were doing a little feasting. Either way, ain't got nothing to do with that. I went to St. Thomas years ago, and you could just whatever 20, 30 feet down, just see straight to the bottom. And I just floated out there like a child for 2 hours. Came back in, and I
Right.
was a color red that was terribly unnatural, but it was awesome.
Yes. Exactly. And you healed, and you have that great
Now
memory.
look at me. Yeah. Shelley, how can somebody get in touch with you?
Uh, any of those platforms I mentioned, but the
You
easiest way
mentioned
is
all the platforms, which
I
is
know,
great.
premierreport.com. You can get
Okay.
all my contact information, or Shelley at premierreport.com. Either way is fine.
Shelley, you've been very generous with your time. I appreciate it very much. It's been fun. I've gotten some notes here for myself. Thank you so much, and you
Thank you.
have a lovely day.
You too. Thank you
All right.
so much. Bye.
Bye.